Where are we at? Are we almost at the end? Yeah?
Yep.
Boho Frock 103, the end. Oh look, it's going to match. Fabulous. So there is the Boho Frock. Yay! Without ironing. I think it's fabulous. I love this. I think it looks cool with the different ombre. So now all that's left is we're going to turn this right sides together. And one of the most important things to get, oh, and after I did the sleeve, so I'm going to cut this, and you'll see why I cut that. And it's so we can sew the seam up that we're going to sew for the sides a little bit easier. So now I'm going to make sure these guys are pretty much matching. And so I've got this like this. I really want these ribbons to match the ends. I am gonna do a I'm gonna do the 1/2 inch seam allowance on this guy. So I'm gonna put my needle down. I'm going to take my pen out now, and I'm going to use my, because it's ribbon, did you notice how I used the threads to pull that through so that they didn't get pulled down into the feed dogs? Because it's not a whole lot of material there. So we're going to do this 1/2 inch seam allowance. There was a fly stuck on here, and I had to pull his little body off. I smushed him at some point, and I don't know when that was. Okay, there. And I'm holding these. So this part, what you do is you just want to clear. See how I'm clearing this, and I'm making it around. Starting to work my way down here, and then I'm going to, I've got these guys matching. Okay, now it's time to just finish this guy up, the side seam. I'm also going to hold this like right, I want it to end pretty evenly, so I'm doing this ease holding kind of thing. I'm going to clip my serging, and I'm also going to go back to this armhole, and I'm going to clip here a little bit so that it's easier to move. And I want to do, I usually just do a little clippy clip there, and then because that's like so close right underneath your arm, I'm going to grab a pinking shear, and I'm just going to clip that off so it's pink. From Boho, in the Boho, we've got this little, see this little ridge here? So every girl, I don't care what size you are, you have a waist. You have a waist. This is the smallest part of you generally, right out underneath the girls. And it's the most slimming part. So whenever you hold a dress into right here, it's beautiful. And if you remember anything from the turn of the century or around 1910, they did a lot of dresses that were like that, and then they just flowed over your hips. Same idea with the boho dress. So to take it in, there's a couple different ways you can do it. I'm using 2-inch elastic here, and to let you see what it looks like on the inside, this is what we did. So we measure around, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to mark to where I'm going to sew this this muslin piece, and all I do is take a piece of muslin and I serge both sides of it, which is just really easy to do. And then I sew it so I've got about 1/4 of an inch around the elastic. So so there's 1/4 of an inch there, and then there's 1/4 of an inch. So it's about a whole 1/2 inch bigger than the piece of elastic is the piece of muslin. And then when we sew it on, I've got this kind of interesting way I do it. We start, oops, I gotta find it. It's right here. All we do is we fold it back, and we sew it around, and then we come back and top stitch, and then I sew it around at the bottom, but I leave this opening. So guess what? When you're done with your dress, all you have to do is put the elastic in, and you're done. It's perfect for that. Okay, here's the top, and we've got all our different landmarks that we got to make these match to. Okay, so we got center front. We've got, I know the sides are where my basting stitches started, so I'm going to turn this around because here's the back. And then here's my front. There's the back. I'm going to take this. I'm going to start right here. So I'm going to pen that. Let me grab my pens. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to pen right here, and then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to pen seam allowance open. I'm going to make sure all these little threadies are right there. And I'm going to pin right here to there. I am also going to pin around to the clips right here. Make sure I've got that centered right there. So you've got your 4 pieces that go all the way around, and then I'm going to envelope the skirt. And I'm going to pull it right around right here. There's one last clip on the bottom of the boho, and the skirt is right, oh, it's right here. So see how I did that? And so now that I have that like that, I'm going to just patiently start to pin each corner. So I'm going to go to one. So see all this piece right here? That has to be gathered to fit this part of the boho frock, the bottom, this long waist. So I'm going to come here, remembering that I don't want to touch my back threads, and so I'm going to use the front threads right here, and I'm going to start gathering this right here. And I've got that pretty, you don't have to gather it a whole bunch. So there's our gather, and I'm going to get some of these threads out of the way. So the most important thing is you want to kind of have them like placed similarly throughout the whole piece right here. So you can see, we want to make sure we get all our pieces even, like that. Oops, pins. Oh, are they right here? Oh, they're right here. Pins. Okay, so we're going to be pinning this, and I'm going to pin it like every inch and a half or so. We've got, do you notice the shape bottom? Anyway, I'm going to sew this on. I'm done with the gathering, but I'm going to sew the whole bottom onto the dress. I'm going to serge it and then top stitch it. So when I sew this stuff, all these gathering threads, I try and keep track of them and keep them out of the way so they're not going to get caught with anything. So I'm just going to start at one point. Here I am. I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I'm going to put it right on that 1/2 inch right there. Oops, I'm still in basting mode. There, I'm back now. And I'm going to start stitching this. And the whole cool part about this is because the boho pattern is sloped as it is, like it goes high in the front and the back and then low on the sides, the straight cut of a skirt follows those lines, and then you get the same gentle rising with the skirts. So we're going to keep gathering here, sewing and gathering, and when I'm almost done, we're going to come right back to that. So I'll just keep sewing it on, and I'll see you in just a minute. We have everything on here, and we've got it serged. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to top stitch. See how we gathered it? And now, oh, it's pretty cute. I'm excited. Okay, so I'm going to go top stitch this seam.